I'm sure I traumatized someone.
You speed up and right next to him, like, yeah.
Drive safely.
You got your horn, your hooga.
Do better next time. Welcome everybody to On Air with Ellie Balloons Season 2. This episode is actually really special because we have not one, but two special guests. I don't have Andrew with me today. So for today's episode, we actually have someone that you guys might be familiar with, and that is Stephen Mayhew.
Hello, everybody.
Woo-hoo! And then our other guest is a twister and a decorator known as Madcap Balloons. Let's welcome Theresa Harding.
Hello. Oh, thank you.
Theresa, thank you for being here. Thank you for being one of our guests. We're just going to kind of dive in and just get to know a little bit about you, a little bit about your business, your journey,
Okay.
and then take it from there.
Okay.
So
Sounds
before
good.
we do that, we actually want to play a little game with you
Oh, okay.
Ooh, here
to
we go.
test your tough text balloon knowledge.
Yes.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up 2 bags of balloons, but the
Okay.
back side of them.
Okay.
And you have to do your best to try to call out the name of the balloon.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we're going to start with these 2. I want to make sure that it's kind of visible here. These 2 balloons. So let's go with this one first.
Okay.
Can you identify what color that is?
Well, it's definitely a shade of blue.
Okay.
Um,
That is correct.
it's a lighter blue.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh, they just came out with some new colors too. Is it a new color?
Moderately. I'd say maybe
Moderately.
within the last year and a half.
Okay.
But I don't think it's the one that you're thinking about. It's not the...
It's not Georgia.
No.
We've established that.
It's not that one. It's not Georgia.
Oh my gosh. This is tough.
And since it didn't come out in the last year and a half, I'm going to give a suggestion. That rules out their pale baby blue.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, so that's out, which really only leaves one other color. But it's okay if you don't remember the name.
Hold on. Okay. So, oh wow, the name is escaping me. What does it start with? Letter? Can I buy a vowel?
Yes, you can. It starts with an M.
M. Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, you have to give it to me. I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine. Okay, as in the song goes, Monet.
Monet. There you go.
Monet.
Thank you.
Monet,
Thank
that's
you.
it. Color
Yes.
is Monet.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, and this one here.
Okay.
This one's been out for a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. Is that sea glass?
That is. Nice
Yes.
job.
Oh.
Sea glass. That's a hard one. Okay,
Oh, I
got
love
2
sea glass.
pinks now. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta make sure. There we go. I should show her the names. All right, so we'll
Okay.
go with this one first.
I believe that's hot pink.
Bam, she is on a
Yeah.
roll.
Barbie
And
stuff. That's Pixie.
Pixie.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Theresa definitely knows her tough text
Tough text colors.
All right. Here we go. One on the right here. I think this is Andrew's favorite color.
Really? Okay. So
Oh,
I
I'm
bet that gives a hint.
I'm going. Dang, where's Andrew? So it's either cameo. It's cameo.
It's cameo.
Okay.
Nice
I was
job.
between that or blush. So.
Yes. Nope, you got it.
And then that's cheeky.
Ooh, look at you. All right, we're rolling through these. We just have a couple left.
No
All right,
worries.
2 greens.
Okay. This one is willow,
Nice. Yep.
and that's meadow.
Okay, I'm impressed. I think you're going to be better than I would have done on
Last
this.
2.
All right, here we go. Last 2. Yep.
Lemonade.
Yep.
And is that Georgia?
That is Georgia.
Oh,
She did it. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Great job.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Look at you.
I
You're
needed-
on a roll.
She is. I think
Did
we
you
found
just?
a new
I was like, did
ambassador.
she just miss the one? The Monet?
Just Monet, yeah.
And it's funny if I know what it was, but for the name wouldn't come. Anyways, yeah. So 9 out of 10. I tried.
Hey,
That's
you
a high
passed in
score.
my
You
eyes.
got an
Way
A.
better than I would have
So.
done, so. Well, since we have you here to be able to kind of get a background history and
Mhm.
stuff like that, let's start with kind of finding out what have prior to balloons.
Mhm.
What was your previous work history?
Oh gosh. I should have brought my resume. So just before balloons, I actually was working with Seth, who is my spouse and business partner. So we were actually working a 9 to 5 together. And while we were working, we ended up getting like let go.
Okay.
So the company was like, hey, we're going to give you like 4 months heads up. Like we're going under. So you need to start looking for something, which was very generous of them.
Yeah, most companies
4
don't give
months,
you.
yeah.
It's usually like you got either.
You gotta
know,
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today you're out.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
So we had heads up and we had to like figure out what our next move was. So I was just like, during this time working with him, I was also a private school teacher part-time. And I was also studying music and theater at CSUN. So I had a bunch of different things going on, and Seth is like, no, we really need to think about income and what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't really know. There's a lot of like things going on. And he's like, well, so I used to be a clown. And I was like, excuse me?
Okay.
Like,
Oh, you didn't know this before?
I did not. I did not.
He was holding on to that one.
He was holding on to that one.
That's funny.
And I was like, that's hilarious. I'm scared of clowns. What are you talking about?
Oh.
And so he's like, well, I would do clown work on the weekends, and it was a way to kind of supplement income. And I think you'd be really good at it. Would you consider it, while we're looking for the next job? And so it took me a while to really think about it. And like, I really had to get over my clown phobia.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know.
So fun fact, my clown name was Teacup. And I put a lot of thought into it because my catchphrase was, making people smile is my cup of tea, called Teacup the Clown.
That's so cute. I love it.
So I was a clown for a little bit. And when you're a clown, you have to do a little bit of everything: face painting, balloons, dancing, singing with the kids, and games. And I enjoyed it. I love kids. I come from a big family. I have 5 younger siblings and an older brother. So I really enjoyed being around kids, and I just loved it. What I didn't love is Southern California gets very hot.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have clown makeup dripping on my face and getting in my eyes. And it wasn't nice. And I would always tell the kids, like, let me know if I look like a scary clown. I need to fix my makeup. And so I
Like, you look like the clown from It. Oh, no.
I have to say that my favorite part of being clown, aside from entertaining kids, was when I would drive on the 405 and someone would cut me off. And then I'd be like, hey, in my clown attire and everything. I'm sure I traumatized someone.
You speed up and right next to him, like, yeah.
Drive safely.
You got your horn, your hooga, hooga.
Do better next time. I'm sure I'm somewhere in like someone's life stories. Like I had a clown yell at me on the 405 freeway. So I enjoyed being a clown, but I didn't enjoy the whole like persona of it. I loved it, but I just wanted to entertain, and that's what I wanted to focus on. And the balloons, I realized, was the part I was the most happiest when I was a clown. So I told Seth, I enjoy being a clown, but I really kind of just want to focus on just the balloons. That's where I'm the most happiest. And he's like, great, we're going to go ahead and start our own company. So we started Madcap Balloons, and we have stopped clowning around ever since. But,
I love it.
Seth
I love it that you guys have that line ready to go.
I can't tell you how many times people ask me like my story at parties, and my short story is like I married a clown, and they always laugh. They're like, "Yeah, me too," and I'm like, "Oh no, my husband's name was Pistachio." So.
You're like, and not talking figuratively. I'm talking. He was an actual clown.
He was a little nutty. That's why the name.
These are good. These are so good. These are great. I love it.
So yeah, that was my start into balloons, and as far as like the twisting world, and so we did balloons. And I think as far as like us staying in balloons, shortly after we started our business, I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. So my husband is a 2-time cancer survivor. So
Wow.
shortly after we started balloons, he actually ended up in the hospital and was there for a while. There was a question of whether he would make it. And so currently being laid off. And before he landed in the hospital, he had proposed to me. So I was like, that's not cool. You don't propose and then go away.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing like my very first gig as Madcap while he was in the hospital. And it was an amazing experience because I remember walking into the event like, I can't believe I'm about to do this. I don't know if my like to be spouse is going to make it. And I'm walking in with balloons. So it was something really powerful about that, going in and just making people smile and doing all the things. And it was just like really therapeutic for me to like take my mind off of the current situation, just like make other people happy. So I was just like, I think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because I don't know of any other like career or job that can just like, help you kind of forget the situation going on and like focus on making other people happy, and then just kind of filling your happy cup that way, I guess you could say. So yeah, I think I was like, this is what I want to do, and I don't really want to do anything else after that. And so long story short, Seth is still here.
Thankfully, yes, good, yes.
So yeah, I think he was undergoing treatment. I think when we got married, he was still doing radiation, and my very first balloon decor thing was actually my wedding. I made my first balloon arch.
Oh wow! Okay.
I didn't know about tools, so I hand pumped everything.
Well, hey, at least you didn't blow them up by mouth. All right, so
I didn't. And I got, I didn't know better about tools. I bought like the frame on Oriental Trading, and, it would fall over. But luckily, I had my siblings here who would help me like weight it down. It was secure after that. But, I always go back and I laugh because balloons have always been really like significant in my life. Yeah, that was the very first balloon arch, was my wedding. I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning to make sure everything was done.
On your wedding day?
On my wedding day, yes.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Do you have pictures of your arch, the first arch?
I will have to find it. So at one point, shortly after we got married, our photographer sent the pictures, and in my husband's excitement, he sent our originals to his mother-in-law, and we are still trying to find them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love my husband. We work very well together. We balance each other out. He has his strengths and my strengths.
There you go. Now, how long have you guys been together? Been married? Or
we have been married for 11 years. And we've had the business for 12 years.
Wow.
So
okay.
I always joke around like I had to make sure we could work together before I married the guy. So
smart. There you go.
Where does your name Madcap Balloons come from, or how did you guys come up with that?
Oh gosh, I remember we were just brainstorming it, and I was just happy as long as the word balloons was part of it. And Seth was like, I really like the word Madcap. It's very retro. It means like amusing and zany. And I was like, cool. If that makes your heart happy, go for it. So
you left it up to him. You're like, all right, that's fine. Just so long as balloons is in it.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I just feel like, that's kind of the direction Seth wanted to be. He wanted to be the zany, amusing person at the party. And I was like, okay. And I felt like Madcap was like, original enough. People would be like, oh, okay. So, and we try to make a thing like we call our fans Madcappers. Like, that's so Madcap. There's also a Madcap coffee, which, occasionally will be reaching out like, hey, we like your name.
It's mine.
Right?
Exactly. We got it. Sorry, unfortunately.
But yeah, that's just how it kind of came about. So it's very much a team effort. So I trusted Seth. He introduced me to balloons. I'm like, you whatever you want to do is totally fine with me. I just need balloons. So
I think that's awesome. What I find interesting, there's two things I find interesting. One, I didn't know that. I thought Seth was more of the twister. I didn't realize you were also a twister as well.
Yes.
I thought you were more of the decorators. Okay, so I'm learning stuff today. But two, because we had you guys came to a class here at LA
Yes.
Balloons many eons ago, pre-pandemic, and you guys are so full of life and are just the sweetest people in the world. But I never would have thought clowns for you two. I never would have thought it, and I can see it now. Now that you've mentioned it and put the two together, but so I find it very interesting, which leads me to this question. Because I also come from the twisting world.
Yes.
And I don't get to talk to too many twisters. So whether it be twisting or whether it be decorating or deco twisting, what is a design that you guys had created that was maybe like your most intricate design, or whether it be in the twisting world? I'm curious what you guys have.
You know, it's funny. I don't like have like I think as far as like twisting, I don't know. Like I can't tell you how many times people ask me like, what's my favorite thing to make? And I don't really know because it just depends.
Money. My favorite thing to make is money. So, so long as the bills are paid, I'm okay.
I do like money. I do like tacos. Those things I can make all the time.
There we go.
But no, like honestly, when people ask me like my favorite thing, whether it's decor or twisting, like I'm like, it's really not like the project. I do have a bucket list of things like I want to make, like as an artist, like I want to make that design. But the thing that really is I like smiles. So it doesn't matter if I made the unicorn or if I made like a life-size car or the Eiffel Tower. Like it's the end result is the smiles, wow, I can't believe this is all balloons. How long did it take? Like I just think like creating that curiosity and that wonder in adults, because I think as adults we lose that, and to see like kids like eyes like open up with imagination, the possibilities, like I think the smiles is what keeps me going. So it doesn't matter the design, it's the end result that is really most important to me.
It's amazing. Okay.
Like, well, I have a question. I know, well, you said you used to do twisting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did you two actually meet? Was it from a class? I
had to think about this actually. So at one point in time, LA Balloons was open, but I remember LA Balloons when you were off of like San Fernando Road.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that was my very first introduction, was there, and then they moved here, and then you started doing classes. So I was very much a twister. I didn't really go into the world of decor until a little bit later, because we would have clients who are like, oh, we want also the decor, and we never want to say no. So I'm like, oh, I guess I got to start learning that. And so I would take classes. And I remember one of my first classes here at LA Balloons was with Antoinette Hunt.
Yes.
Lovely lady.
She's so sweet.
She's amazing. She's one of those people you see and you can't help but smile. She has this energy about her.
She does.
So I was really glad like she was my first class.
Was it the beginner's class?
It was a beginner's class.
Right.
Yes. And I just remember feeling I'm very much type A perfectionist type of thing. So she comes in with this energy and she's like, everything's fine. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like going back to my wedding arch.
You learned so much from that one class that you could have used with the wedding arch.
Like, why didn't I meet you years ago? Yeah. So I just remember she was doing a 216, squeezing the air out to make it more rubber band. I remember this was being like novel. I'm like, what? How long have I been twisting balloons? And I never knew that technique. Like my husband's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, amazing. So these tips and tricks. I was just like, okay. And then I kept, whenever I had the opportunity, I would take more classes. I think another significant class I remember taking from LA Balloons was when you had Sue Bowler here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was amazing. And I was so excited to learn her organic heart, her linking heart.
Yes.
Just a lovely woman. I feel like a legend, a true legend in the industry as well. And I was just like, oh, she's over the pond. I actually don't know if that's where she's from, but
she's from the UK.
Okay, got it.
So you got it correct. And
I was just like, oh man. And so that was the first class I met Andrew.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Was that Sue's class?
It was Sue's class.
Okay.
Because she was doing something and she's like, I need an assistant. and Andrew came up. She's like, "Oh, everybody needs an Andrew." And like, I never forgot that. I'm like, "Oh, I need an Andrew."
As your husband said, it's like, I'm right here.
Seth has been someone who is slowly coming into the decor. He's definitely more helping, but he's very much more of a twister. But he definitely like helps out. I was much more like jumped in the deep end of the pool as far as decor. That's how I met Andrew, but going back. So I'm not quite sure if I have like a moment when I met you.
Because I'll be honest, I have the worst memory in the world. And so I was also thinking about this as well. And I was like, the first time I thought we had met was at the class here at LA Balloons. I thought I was teaching the class. So it turns out I was not teaching the class. I was probably helping Antoinette. Or I was just on the side. So I remember talking with you guys and specifically talking about, you guys came up afterwards. And again, they were just as they are in general, but that was my first introduction to them. I'm like, these people are so sweet. And you guys had a ton of questions about pricing.
Yes.
And I was like, I have a job cost form that I think will help you.
Yes. We still have that,
you
actually.
Do? Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you guys, you're like, we completely don't use it anymore. But no, I mean, that's what it's about. It's about figuring out, your pricing and things like that. So that's when I remember. So I'm glad we're on the same page. So that's when we met everybody.
Yes, sorry. Total tangents here.
About maybe 6-7 years ago.
Yes.
Something like that.
And I was laughing because I think you were always so like approachable. And I was just like, he's so nice. And I think, and like I said, Seth is much more of the talker. And at one point he was like, you do know how amazing he is as a balloon twister, right? And so the moment he told me this, whenever I would see Steven, I was like, oh, I'm around celebrity balloons.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
So I would always,
that's so sweet of you.
I would always laugh. I was like, Seth, please come with me because I will shut down and I will get shy.
Oh. No, not at all. I'm glad that you realized that I was approachable. I have no, qualm or think
Steven's a celebrity at LA Balloons, so.
Have you seen his work?
I don't know.
Amazing.
We'll have to insert pictures somewhere around here of all of Steven's work of when you were doing twisting, when you have done decor, right?
Yep.
And your book. For everybody who doesn't know, Steven actually has, it's called ABC book, right?
The ABC Balloon book. Yeah.
With amazing work. So we will post it on here so that everybody can see that. As well as pictures of Theresa's work from when she first started to where she's at now.
Yes.
So
if they can find that,
if I can find the wedding art, I'll send it over.
She's going to specifically say like, they're going to have it. They're going to find it. She'll be like, I don't know where it's at. I'm sorry. She doesn't want it to be posted on the broadcast, but it's about going from where because everybody has to start. That's what's interesting.
Yeah.
And we always grow, especially in balloons. Everybody listening to this, all the three of us, you start off, and if you look back now, you go, oh, that was awful. But you see how far you've come because you've, taken classes and continue to, increase your education.
I'm a big believer in education. I haven't grown since I was 12 years old. So that's the only way to learn is education. Grow that way. Right. For those of you who don't know, I'm 4'12" and it's 5 feet. But so doing decor and my size, there's only so much a ladder and tall people can do. So I have to grow educationally as far as my skills. So I really attribute like the start of that path to LA Balloons. I don't think I would have like taken the chance or been more comfortable if it hadn't been for the classes early on. And the fact that everyone here is so approachable and like I can ask questions. I think I remember asking Andrew about something and he's like, just do it. And I'm like, what if it's not perfect? He's like, your customer won't know. And I was like, oh, yeah,
that's very true.
I guess you're right. So, it's like even like little tidbits like that, like that makes sense. So, you guys calm down my perfectionist mentality. So I appreciate
That's
it.
what we're here for.
How has your transition been from going to like a normal like 9-to-5 job to then going into you're going to be a clown, you're going to do twisting, and now you're doing decor? Like how has that kind of worked out for you, like in the process?
Okay.
Just to kind of give people, because I know a lot of people are usually like scared of taking that leap to start something.
Very true.
Okay.
So how has that kind of
So, okay, so let me go back a little bit. So, and this is good. I'm going to need this for my book years later. So,
The memoirs, the teacup. That's the name of it.
So with Seth's condition, as far as when we first started, like it kind of like freaked me out. So we were like newly unemployed and doing, trying to figure out stuff. And then balloons was kind of a bit of a conduit as far as like, the possibilities. So I was still doing a 9 to 5 and Seth was more full-time as far as the twisting. So I was very much like into nonprofit in the HR side of things. So I did that for like a decade almost. But I was still very much, what's nice about twisting is everything's on the weekends.
Mhm.
So I had my healthy balance of like dealing with nonprofits, and I worked with a lot of therapists. So I had a really healthy balance of like therapists who needed help, and then I could deal with children on the weekend. So Seth was always more full-time than me. And I think because of everything that happened medically with him, I was afraid to take my foot off the pedal. So I've been full-time now for a couple years, but Seth has been much longer. And for me, it was just, I think I wanted more of a stability. And it wasn't until I think I hit a certain goal, I was like, okay, I'm much more comfortable. Like I can I think emotionally I was ready to like jump in and like do this full time. So I think it just really depends on like your story, your gut feeling as far as like where you want to go. I know there's been some people who've done it like really fast, and I'm like, that's amazing. And there's people, you just take your time. You have to do what's best for you because your story is going to be completely different than mine. And I really enjoyed working in the nonprofit section. I dealt with a lot of kids who were in foster care. And there's a lot of like tough stories that way. And I think working in that particular environment really helped me appreciate celebrations, because you just never know like a situation someone could be going through or the past that they've had. And, being at an event is an opportunity to just celebrate the moment. So it took me a long time to step away from the social work side of things, because I just felt like that was, I feel like a kid needs an opportunity to be a kid at all times, despite the circumstances that they go through. And at one point in the career, I was just like, you know what? It's getting difficult to manage like when I'm inflating balloons and when I'm doing 9 to 5. And I think that's when I had to take the leap. Like, the thing that gives me the much more joy is when I inflate the balloon. So it's time to go. So you just gotta, take an account of, where you are with your finances, where you want to go. And you just kind of listen to that feeling, take advice from professionals, who have been in your situation, and just kind of go from there. But my story is definitely much more different than a lot of people's. So
I think it's fantastic though that you went from helping people and working with people
Mhm.
to helping people in a different way
Mhm.
and like helping them celebrate some milestone in life or whatever it might be. So
Well,
that's
and
wonderful.
I think it was much more eye-opening, especially during the pandemic, because we were taking classes pre-pandemic, and then everything happened, everything shut down, so we couldn't twist at events. People were 6 feet apart. I couldn't like throw you a balloon. So I was having a conversation with Seth, and I was like, well, I guess we're going to put our decor, knowledge to the test and really kind of like practice and work and honing in our skills. So I think, because I was in social work, I was actually considered an essential worker. So I
okay.
never stopped working. And so it was it was a weird feeling going on an empty freeway, which is like the weirdest feeling ever. It's great because I got to work in like 10 minutes, which would take me like half hour. But so I would go in, and like people were somber, people had masks, and, the kids didn't know what was going on. And, I was just like, it was just like a strange environment to go through that. And I never want to like relive that feeling again of like having a sense of hopelessness. And so I was just like, I think balloons, I don't think if I had balloons during the pandemic, I don't think I would be in the situation as like being as hopeful that I am. So I'm really like grateful that I had that. So I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm going on a tangent. I'm like trying not to cry.
No,
No,
not
no,
at all.
no.
Perfectly fine.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, no, don't worry. What has been, you've gone through a lot, obviously, with Seth and just overall transitioning to your business. What would you say as like a business owner? What is the most difficult part about having your own business?
Whew, you will have good days and you will have those bad days. Oh my gosh. Every rejection is a redirection. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. You got to remember that on those bad days. So yeah, I think the important thing I can tell anyone who's a business owner is, you got to have that perseverance and you got to have that little bit of hope, because it's that little bit of hope that will make the difference of whether you keep going or you quit. Your challenging days, the days that you learn from your experiences. So on just those really hard days, you just, talk to a friend, you do something else that makes you happy, remember your why. And that's really important. I always have to think like, wow, I've been doing this now for quite a while. And I'm just like, what keeps me going? And I think it also helps having that other someone. I think that's another thing that makes us different is I have Seth. At the end of the day, whether it's a good day or a bad day, like we speak balloon lingo and he can vent, he can celebrate, and I totally understand what he's talking about. So I think having that support system is extremely important as well. So just keep going.
That's perfect. And I'm curious, out of there's some couples that can work together and there's some couples that can't. I had started off my decorating company with someone I was with at the time. And I got to a point and was like, we can't do this. We can't be working together. So what do you feel is the tip or whatever has made it work for the two of you to work together? Because like I said, not everybody can do that, as especially being married in the same space all day long, all night long. It's just the two of you, What do you think makes it work for you two?
Well, we really just enjoy each other's company. So he makes me laugh, I make him laugh. So that's good. Communication is really like key. So he, even in our business now, like he focuses more on our twisting events and I'll focus on the decor. So we really highlight each other's strengths and weaknesses in that way. So when we talk schedule or we talk something else, it's nice to bounce ideas and kind of come up with things. So, I mean, I don't really know, like it's Seth. If you've ever met Seth before, he's just really tall. He's really charming. And it's, it's difficult not to like be taken by his charm.
Oh, that's so cute.
So no, I mean, it's just, when I have my bad days, he's doing good and he lifts me up and vice versa, so I don't know. It's just, we were very lucky to have found each other because, even before we started a business, like I said, we worked a 9 to 5 together. So we worked in like Inglewood. So we would do 2 hours getting to work and 2 hours back getting from work. So we spent a lot of time together.
That's right. So it really wasn't just balloons when you guys really started working close together. You had been working at the previous job together as well.
Exactly. Yes. So,
Okay, that makes
and I
more
think
sense.
when the thought of it going under and us looking at separate jobs, we're like, oh, we don't like that. Like we really just, he's my person and I want to spend every second with him. And I think also because of the situations that we've gone through, life has taught us that it is short and it's brief and you just never know when it's going to go. So if I have to work or do something, I want to make sure it's around someone who makes me feel full. And I'm not saying it as a short joke, even though he's like a whole foot taller than me. Like he gets me and I want to be around that all the time, whether it's work or not. So it just find your person. Find your own Seth or Andrew, I guess.
There you go. Straight from her mouth. I think that's wonderful because it's the fact that you guys that you enjoy working together as obviously a couple, and what life has to bring to each person, but then also that you guys work very well together. During work hours, and there's no like time that there's no like, okay, we don't talk about work after 6 o'clock. Or no, he's like,
No.
Seth wakes up at 2 a.m. and he's like, I got an idea on how we can fix that structure.
We dream about balloons
Yes,
at this
well,
point.
we all do.
Oh my
Sadly,
gosh.
no.
No, I think it's, I don't think we get tired of it because there's, what's lovely about, twisting and decor, like the possibilities are endless. So there's always things, you can talk about or design or dream about. So we don't get tired of it. It makes us happy. We enjoy our clients. Our clients are always amused by us being a couple as well. So when we go to events, they're like, how's Theresa or how's Seth? Or for clients who don't know us, they're like, oh my gosh, we want to book you. And I'm like, great, call the number on the card. But we want just you. Yep. Just tell the guy on the phone that you saw his wife. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, and if he doesn't say the name is Theresa, please let me know that's a problem. And they're like, oh, you're serious? Yes.
That is my husband. Yeah.
It is. So I think, we work really well together, and I think our clients really like that too. So I think, we just enjoy it, and we kind of feed off of each other as far as that as well. So
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's really cute, especially because nowadays you see a lot of people where the husband is usually the one that is like coming by to pick up the orders. Like they're in like their normal like 9 to 5 doing construction, and they come by and they're like, yeah, I'm here to pick up balloons for, whoever. And a lot of the times you hear that they're the ones doing like the backdrops. So the wives have them like building everything, and they're like, it's just balloons. But in reality, like it is, I guess, teamwork. So it's nice to know that you have that with Seth. And speaking of Seth, I have a question that I'm curious about since floats.
Oh yes, this is a very curious question. I know what this question is. I
think we're all wondering. Is Seth
Philomena?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
It was because of his extensive clown background. He was nominated to be in the bear costume. So yes.
That makes sense. So for those who don't know, so Philomena is kind of like the mascot, which is, it's a bear. It's a little teddy bear. No, Seth wasn't in that bear. It was a little stuffed animal, but that's the mascot to float the balloon convention. And so, was it this past year? Was the first time
this year? Yeah.
Philomena came out?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no.
She came out on stage.
She came out a couple
times.
I know, because I had to help her. That was, yeah.
Okay. Has it always been Seth?
No. I think this was the first year it was Seth and not someone else.
Okay. All right.
We'll insert a picture of Seth. We actually got some good pictures at our booth at Float.
Yes.
So we'll have to insert some of those so everybody can see.
Yes, we will have them listed. I love it. Well, and now it makes sense because again, I didn't know the clowning background, and obviously, yes, that totally makes sense. I was like, this is a very tall person in this. And Theresa is the one who's moving him around. And I was like, it's gotta be Seth. And he was like,
even being in the big costume, I still lost him at the convention.
Really?
I did. He wanted to do a skit. He's like, I want you to film me going into the elevator. I'm like, okay. So he pushed the button. He's waiting for the elevator. He's going back and forth. And he goes in the elevator and he waves bye. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should go after him. And so I thought he was going to be on my floor. And so when I get up to my floor, there's no giant teddy bear. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And Seth is very true to character. Like the head doesn't come off, the hands don't come off, and he doesn't talk. So he's just walking around like a bear. And I'm going downstairs and I'm like looking for him. I think at one point, like Scott DeLorenzo stops me. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm looking for Philomena. I lost her. He was like, oh, okay, good luck. I eventually found him on the top floor walking with security. And I'm like, thank you. So,
did they stop him? We're like, who are you? Or like, why is there this 6 foot tall, like 7 foot with the head on, tall bear wandering the hallways? This seems a little fishy.
Like, what happened? He's like, I pressed the wrong button. I went to, I was like, okay. And if you're in a giant costume, you don't have access to a phone or anything. So it's just like, I can't believe I lost him.
Nothing would have been funnier than seeing Philomena being dragged out in handcuffs. Poor Seth that the head's still on, down in the lobby. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of conventions, I know you were at Float, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm like, I think you've been at other conventions, right?
Yes. I
What
have.
is your takeaway from attending these conventions?
I feel like, education is the most important thing as far as like conventions. I will forever be a student. So I just soak up all these different like techniques and tips. Also, the important thing is like networking. I think I have found like a really good support system in going to these conventions and meeting different people. Um, I think the first time I met Tommy and Scott DiLorenzo's of Balloons by Tommy, I was just blown away because I think if I were to strive to be any type of business, I want to be their business. And they are just like the most down to earth, kind, and genuine people like you can meet in the industry. So like you meet these people, and it's just like, you put a face to like their social media, and it's just like, oh wow, like I think it opens up like possibilities of where you can go, and you just see that they're just nice, genuine people. I feel like I have a support system around the world. Another one I really adore is Jenny Porter from Three Sparrows Designs. She's in Canada. I joke around because we both have this infinity for tacos. So she's my taco sister. And it's just amazing. Like I could be having a question about balloons, or it's just something about life, or have a bad day. And like, they're just there. They're a reminder of like, you got this, like, this is fine. And, another person I met via conventions is Alexa Rivera. She is the other half of Balloon Designers with Stephen Jones. I always joke around with her. I was like, you're just so helpful with me as far as different things. She's the person that helped me like not be afraid of helium.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm like, Alexa.
What specifically? Like the balloons flying away and you not being able to catch them, or that?
I'm so embarrassed. I'm not even going to say, but just anything helium.
Anything helium. Okay.
I am learning. I will forever be a student. But like just these little things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like she changed my life about confetti inside a balloon. I've been doing it the wrong way, the hard way. And she's like, just do this. And I'm like, Alexa, like, and I joke around, like, I think you need to be like a person much more out there, like giving advice. Like, I'm like, let me design something for you. You could be like, ask Alexa, be like, Alexa, how much helium do I need for this balloon here? Like, and she just comes up with her voice, Theresa, you need this amount for this. And beep, like, okay. So, but yeah, she's definitely be someone who's like instrumental too. And I don't think I would have met her had it not been for like a float convention. So that's where you learn, and that's where you learn the type of people who are also in the industry. And that has definitely been life-changing. I think for a long time, Seth and I were always just really happy with each other and just in our own little bubble. And we didn't really do conventions. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm shy. Seth is much more of the talker. In fact, I was just telling Karen and Steven, I almost traded out spots. I'm like, I think Seth should go, not me. So we were really happy in our bubble, and we would, learn virtually and stuff, but we never like went to a physical convention up until Flow. And that was, I think that was just like, wow, what have we been missing on?
It's amazing about going to a convention and realizing you're not the only one who is interested in balloons or just, sitting in your house making balloon decor. It really is a family.
It is.
They're so accepting at these conventions.
It is. So if you haven't gotten to one, I highly encourage you to go invest in yourself. There is balloons and there's business, and then there's you, like, where do you want to go? And I think that's like a great place to like find yourself as far as like where you are on an educational level and where you want to go. And like, that's the perfect place to go. So
absolutely. And we always have upcoming events
yes,
on
they do.
laballoons.com on our education center. So any of the I don't want to mention any upcoming events now because in a couple months they'll be gone. So just check it out, laballoons.com, click on the education center. I do want to ask because I don't think that anybody that you've had as a guest has actually worked in some aspect for a convention. and not just at the convention itself. There were tasks and things that you need to do. But could you give us a little bit of kind of how what you have done for Float in regards to TMI, right?
Oh gosh.
And just kind of how that happened and kind of what it is and what people could look out for in the future with it.
Okay. So, like I said, I didn't really do conventions. Like Seth and I were very happy in our bubble and like the occasional like classes, LA balloons and stuff. And then the pandemic happened. So, like couldn't twist balloons. So I was like, all right, this is the time where we're going to really like learn decor and, you know, not hand pump like I did on my wedding day. So I think, you know, it was just scrolling through Facebook at one point and someone was posting about 1 million bubbles, which was it was kind of a movement for balloon artists, you know, to create something to inspire joy in the community while everyone was, you know, very much like what's happening with COVID. And so I did that. And I was just like, my very first piece was an Easter basket. And I decided that I was going to do this basket and have like little bunnies around it talking about like, you know, stay 6 feet apart or wash your hands. And then inside the basket had Easter eggs of like messages of hope. So like just breathe or one day at a time. And I wanted to do that for my community because, you know, nobody knew what was happening. I think this not knowing was just driving everyone crazy. So I did that. And when you do 1 million bubbles, you like have to join a group so you can post your thing so they can try to, you know, keep track of everyone participating in this project. So I was involved in this group. And then after that happened, I was scrolling Facebook and I saw this cat video. It's an orange cat. And I was like, oh, I'm a cat fan. And then it turned out to be like Steve Jones talking about like Float. And I'm like, I have no idea what this is. So like, I was really interested in the cat. So
I don't care about this guy. Let's talk more about this cat.
Like, what is this cat doing? Sorry. It's so cute. So I got involved in conventions because of a cat. So my story is always so weird. So everyone's like, how did you get involved in Float? I'm like, the cat. And I don't think I realized who Steve Jones was until much later. And so we would have like these conversations. Well, have you been doing balloons? What are you doing this? And I would have questions about decor. And then at one point I figured out he was half a balloon designer. So I'm like, oh, I follow you. I want to do the things you do. So I've always inspired by his designs and him and Alexa just. So I got involved that way. We got to like talking. And then, you know, I was having a conversation like I really miss twisting. I miss that entertainment aspect. I miss like seeing live people smiling. And, you know, even if I did a delivery, like people are wearing masks, you know, you don't get to see the smile. And I was really like disheartened by that. So as I was playing with decor and honing in on my skills there, and then, you know, I just didn't have that entertainment element. And so at one point we were joking around. He's like, well, why don't you just do a show for, you know, Float the convention, you know, get your entertainment out that way. And I was like, okay. So again, we'd only known each other for a few months. So I don't think he like understood, like when I say okay to something, like get ready.
I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah. So I think the first episode I had a show for the Float convention called TMI for T Money Insights. T Money is what apparently I'm known in the balloon world.
It is like her.
It is my thing.
You're kind of like teacup.
Yes.
People call you T-Money.
Well, see, and I got that because I used to work with a gentleman who was an ex-gang member. This is very, like I said, I need to write a book. So I was doing a lot of things. So I was working with Seth. I was teaching at a private school. I was still in school. So he'd always ask like, what do you do for downtime? I'm like, what's that? Like I hang out with Seth in the car when we drive back from work. So he's just like, wow, you really like, you know, you're just working like, you know, you must make a lot of money. Agree. And he's like, I'm going to call you T-Money. And he's like, so if anyone ever stops you on the street, that's your name. I'm like, okay. Cool.
We'll go with it.
I have street credit apparently.
That's amazing.
So, and eventually, the balloon world found out that was my name, and so hence TMI, T-Money Insights. So I was like, okay, I'm like the least gangster person there is. Okay. So I would do the show on a weekly basis, and it was I did it like for a good 4 years of just weekly episodes of just like, hey guys, just want to check in with you. Everyone's doing okay. And it would consist of like a music video. So there was some type of like, what's the word? A parody of something. So whether it was balloon related or just what was going on in the world, I would have a weather display of like, this is what our national holidays are. I'm really big on national holidays, which by the way, at the time of this recording, it is World Mental Health Day. Very important.
Yeah.
Take care of you. So, I would, talk about these national days and how you can incorporate it into your social media. And, I'm really wanting to like create engagement in that way. And then I would end my episode with mental health moments. Because I came from an industry in social work where, I worked with therapists, I was therapist when they would come to me. I'm like, oh, I'm not capable of this, but okay, I'm here to help and listen. So I would always end off with like a quote, like, because everyone was going through different things with their business. No one knew what was happening with the pandemic. And so it was important to me to leave off on a positive note. And that was kind of it. So, I had a show, and I don't know how it really happened, but it started with a cat. And so eventually I was brought on to staff, and I think I'm kept around because people like look at my story and I'm like, what? I'm here. How can I help you? Like, balloons are great.
But you're also very approachable, and that's the thing. So I definitely see why Steve would want you to be on staff. But okay, so just as a side note, quick question. You're talking about you would leave people with memorable quotes. What is a memorable quote that you kind of live by?
So before balloons, before Seth, I actually studied music for a very long time. I was actually involved in a conservatory music in Sun Valley, and my mentor, she passed away about almost to this day, maybe almost like 20 years ago. She died in early October. So I was very much into music, but she wrote this lyric that always like stuck with me. And I think this is why I like hold on to like the concept of hope. Like I'm a what's the word I use? I'm a hopium dealer. So if you're down, I will give you that little bit of hope. I'm happy to like deal that out. So, but the lyric she wrote in this one musical, it says, while you're alive, hope never dies. And that always like stuck with me. And I think because of like a lot of like life experiences, again, I got to write the book. It's life can be here and not be here so quickly. And I think we sometimes take it for granted. And I think balloons really help remind me of like how temporary it is. And so to really enjoy it. So I think that's where I hold on to like that concept of hope. So yeah, that's the kind of the thing that kind of takes me through. So like you can do anything as long as you have that little bit of hope, because that little bit of hope leads to faith, and that faith will take you anywhere. Nothing is impossible as long as you have that little bit of hope.
Oh, I was like, oh,
I know, gosh. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And you had mentioned hope earlier as well. And so like, take that chance. You need a little bit of hope. I think that's wonderful. That's great.
What, because you've experienced so much in your life and have had different opportunities with just everything, what is some piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is trying to get into the balloon industry or just trying to start their business?
Education for sure. Definitely do your research as far as like, how things are done. And it's not just like techniques or stuff, like business as well. Find yourself a support system, go to a convention. And I'm pretty approachable. You talk to me, but like I said, like my journey is always way different than anyone else, but I'm here to be a optimistic cheerleader if you need it. I don't feel like there's a lot of cheerleaders sometimes. And, I think I remember when I first started balloons, my parents were like, "You're doing what?" Well, actually, no, I was a clown. So when I would come home, like people were really gracious. They would give me like dollar tips. So I would come home and I would paint and glitter and I had dollar bills. My mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm a clown. I make balloons and I face paint.
We spent how much on your education?
I know, I know.
Oh, no.
So you'll definitely have those doubters out there, and like, what exactly are you doing? And you really have to just look forward and listen to your gut, your heart, and just you just got to keep going. Like you will have those hard days, and those hard days will be very defining for you in the future. You gotta keep going. I would highly encourage you to read books as well. A very instrumental book that I found that made me really change my perception of like failure is Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. So I learned to welcome failure and rejection because they're going to help me learn and be a better person. That's how I grow, because I can't do it physically. So yeah, read or listen to a podcast. Seth and I joke around. We have our friend Mel Robbins podcast. It's an amazing podcast. So we always joke around like, my friend Mel says I need to like drink more water. And Seth is like, I've been telling you that for years. I'm like, I know. Mel says it's so much more, inspiring.
Yeah, but Mel said it. You said it too, but I'm not really listening that much. It depends.
So, you just gotta find the thing that will keep you there, and you have to find your why. Make sure your why is big enough. So on those tough days, you don't quit. My why is to, I really like joy, and I don't think there's a lot of it in the world. And I think, I feel like people always have like something going on in their life, whether they look happy or they look sad, like you just never know. So my goal is always to leave someone better than they were before I met them. So, and I think balloons have that power, but even without balloons, just be a better person and be kind. There's not a lot of kindness in the world, and you'd be amazed like what a simple hello does to someone's day. So
what do you think you would be doing if the clowns and the balloons hadn't worked out for you?
I'd probably be a therapist.
So you still would have been helping in some way.
In some way, but man, that I always felt bad for our therapists we work with. There was a lot of heavy stuff they had to go home with. So I think sometimes they would come to my office just so I can make them laugh. And so they can like take it off and like, Theresa had a really hard day. All right, sit down. What do you need? So I just think, life is very short, and I just, if I'd want to do something that matters. My father always told me, if you're going to be in a career, make sure it's something that you really enjoy, because no matter what you're going to do, you're going to work hard. So make sure it's something that you want to do for the rest of your life. And that always stuck with me. So the moment I think I found balloons, I was like, all right, this is it. Like it hits all the buttons. Like I enjoy doing it. Like, and then other people are happy because I do it. Like this is great. And I have a partner who supports me and understands everything. So this is great. I'm very grateful.
So inspirational.
I know.
I
like tell me more.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
I'm happy to bring you on the team.
I'm a little busy here at LA Balloons,
I know,
but I've got some spare time.
Where can people find you? Do you have a website, social media? Anything that you want to share about?
You can go to our any social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, it's Madcap Balloons. Finding me in a crowd is a little bit difficult, but you just type in Madcap Balloons, you should be fine.
Highly recommend to follow them. They do some amazing work.
Thank you.
Yes.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you as LA Balloons. As a balloon artist, I couldn't do the job that I do without you guys. You guys are just always so quick and efficient. I always laugh because I'm like, I get my last minute orders and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to put my order and like be at LA Balloons in 2 hours. I'm like, sorry guys. But you guys do it always like with a smile. And I always joke around with Seth. I'm like, I'm going to my happy place. And, everyone's happy place is like Disney. I'm like, No, it's LA Balloons.
That should be the new slogan. You're a new happy place.
I was joking around because I think I would pick up balloons every other day, prior to the pandemic. And I was like, I should just live here. So aisle 5 or 7 is perfect. Put me there.
We're going to get a blow up mattress for you. You'll be set, ready to go. We're going to put you to work and start picking.
Teresa's going to start handing out the curbside orders.
We'd have to bring Seth, though. I couldn't work without him for such a long time.
So really, we have 2 new employees. She's like, no, thank you. But
Seth is really tall. He'll get all the stuff on the high shelves.
We won't need the ladders anymore. No, it's really, I got to say, we have an amazing team here. Mm-hmm. And the staff that's on the floor that's picking the orders, they really actually care about picking it right, getting it done quickly. Mm-hmm. They're managed by Karen and Andrew, who, host the podcast. And so you guys do a fantastic job with it. And so I'm glad to hear from an amazing designer and decorator who also is running a successful business in Los Angeles, that you're seeing, the fruits of our labor of just trying to make sure
your customer support has always been like on point. So like it just when we get those last minute orders and then we have to pick up things right away, like you guys always bring it out with a smile and it's very much appreciated. So, I know some days are like really hot and really cold and you have to come out and like, there's a lot of cars. It's very much appreciated. So, and I will do my best on not like ordering 50 minutes and be like, hey guys, so I'm outside.
That's also okay though.
So, yeah, I was like,
we can help you out. You just have to let us know.
Yeah, I think we're used to last minute orders, and you're definitely not the only one. But I'm glad and we appreciate the fact that you are sharing that with us, because our staff, it's important, I think, for them to hear, that they're appreciated by not just us that work with them, but the customers that come by. And again, we're always happy to do just anything that we can for you and for anybody to help them out, whether that's picking your order because you're already outside or shipping it out the same day when the carrier is like literally here. We're like, wait, so we have one more order. So we really appreciate that. And I think having you on the podcast has been really great. It's given us a little bit of insight to get to know you just a little bit better. And for those of you who don't know you, will know you a little bit better now. And just wanted to say thank you for being here. And we appreciate your fun and positive energy all the time. She's always laughing, always so positive, always has some really cool glasses all the time.
She does. Very stylish. She's very stylish.
I have over 40 pairs of glasses. It's a vision problem.
Hey, but you've turned it into, a fashion problem.
Other than that, did you have any other questions?
No, I just have to say thank you so much for joining us. And Karen, thank you for having me as your co-host.
Thank you guys
for this episode. This has been wonderful and fantastic. We greatly appreciate it.
We do miss you, Andrew. Don't worry. Don't worry.
We do.
Quick shout out to our sponsor, Tough Tex Balloons. We actually have a giveaway and we'll have Theresa hold up the bag. So for this giveaway, it is a bag full of goodies. And you guys, whoever the winner is, can post about it. For this giveaway, we will have you guys just like the video, follow us on any platform that we have, and then just comment and we will pick a random winner to win this fun goodie bag. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Theresa. And we'll post everybody's social medias on here and we will see you guys on the next episode. So thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Be sure to follow us on all our socials. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and Pinterest. Thank you to our sponsor, Tough Tex, for supporting the podcast On Air with LA Balloons. Tough Tex is known for their high quality balloons, unique colors, and for being trendsetters in the industry.
Are you a balloon artist, own a party shop, or planning an event? If you're looking for professional products, better service, and faster shipping, then check us out at laballoons.com. We carry all of your favorite balloon brands, silk flowers, party supplies, equipment, and more.